First victim was found torn apart in a quiet French valley. But what terrified the people wasn't just the brutality, it was what witnesses claimed they saw. A creature larger than a wolf, with a chest like a horse and a tail like a lion, and eyes that almost seemed human. Welcome to a story whispered through centuries, where fear stalked the hills and something unnatural refused to die. In the remote region of Gévaudan, during the year 1764, the land was wild, rugged, and isolated. Small farming villages were scattered between dense forests and rolling hills. Life was hard, but predictable, until something began to hunt. The first recorded attack came in June of that year. A young woman tending cattle was mauled, but miraculously survived. She spoke of a massive beast, unlike any wolf she'd ever seen, larger, broader, and far more aggressive. At first, the locals assumed it was just an unusually large wolf, but as the attacks continued, that explanation began to fall apart. Victims weren't just killed, they were targeted. Most were women and children. Many were found partially devoured, with injuries focused on the head and neck. Some reports claim the creature seemed to ignore livestock, choosing instead to hunt humans. Panic spread quickly. Word reached the court of Louis XV, who took the threat seriously. Professional hunters were dispatched to Gévaudan to kill, track, and destroy the beast. Among them was a renowned hunter and his son. They combed the countryside, organizing massive hunts, killing hundreds of wolves. But the attacks didn't stop. If anything, they became more brazen. Witnesses began to describe the creature in chilling detail. Its fur was reddish brown, sometimes streaked with black. Its snout was elongated, its chest wide and powerful, and its tail long, with a distinctive tuft at the end. Some claimed it moved with unnatural speed, bounding across fields in giant leaps. Others swore it showed intelligence, circling prey, avoiding traps, even recognizing armed men and fleeing before they could fire. It didn't behave like a wolf, and it didn't fear humans. By 1765, the death toll had risen to dozens, possibly hundreds, depending on the accounts. Entire villages lived in terror. Children no longer played outside. Farmers worked in groups, armed with whatever weapons they could carry. The king, growing impatient, sent his own gun bearer and hunter Francois Antoine. Antoine was determined. In September of 1765, he claimed to have finally killed the beast, a massive wolf of extraordinary size. The body was preserved and sent to Versailles. For a moment, the nightmare seemed over. Celebrations were held. The king declared victory. But in Gévaudan, the killings began again. Whatever Antoine had killed, it wasn't the only thing out there. For another 2 years, the terror continued. Then, in 1767, a local hunter named Jean Chastel took matters into his own hands. According to legend, Chastel used silver bullets blessed in a church to hunt the creature. During a quiet morning hunt, the beast finally appeared. It didn't charge. It didn't flee. It simply stood there, watching him. Chastel raised his rifle, took aim, and fired. This time, the creature fell. When examined, it was described as enormous. Its features were strange, almost unnatural. Some accounts suggested deformities. Others hinted at something more deliberate, as if the animal had been altered or even trained. After its death, the attack stopped, just like that. No more sightings, no more killings, only silence and questions. To this day, No one knows exactly what the Beast of Gevaudan was. Some believe it was simply a series of unusually large wolves. Some believe it may have been a hybrid or even an exotic animal brought in from afar. And then there are the darker theories that it wasn't just an animal at all, that something or someone may have been controlling it. Because the most unsettling detail isn't how it killed, it's how long it continued despite everything thrown against it. Hundreds of hunters, royal intervention, relentless pursuit, and still it endured. As if it understood the fear it created and fed on it. Even now, in the quiet hills of Gévaudan, the story lingers. A reminder that sometimes the line between beast and nightmare is thinner than we think. I'd like to end this story with a poem, and here's that poem. In fields once soaked with fear, the silence now remains, but echoes of that creature still wander through the plains. A shadow in the forest, a whisper in the night, a pair of watching eyes just beyond the firelight. They hunted it with fury, with steel and shot and flame, yet no two souls who saw it could quite describe the same. Was it flesh or something darker, something we can't explain? A predator, a body, or a thing that fed on pain? The records tell the story, but truth may never show what walked those hills in Gévaudan so many years ago. For every tale remembered, a dozen more were lost, and some truths fade to legend, no matter what the cost. That's another story from the edge of night. Please like and subscribe to keep the torch alight. Good night.